Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and this is my review for Tokyo Ravens, Episode 2. Now, this one starts off exactly where the last one left off. Suzuka ends up leaving. Hokuto is, for some strange reason, mad at Harutora. It's anime girl logic. Never, ever attempt to understand anime girl logic because anime girls don't use logic. Just don't try it. Just that entire scene was just stupid. I mean, it was Hokuto doesn't make any sense. It was it was what I'm gonna just push that to the side for now. It was a bad scene. After that, it's the next day. Toji and Harutora are in class or remedial lessons or something, summer school, something like that. And Toji and Harutora, they're talking about Yako Tsujimikado. And apparently his magic failed the what's it called? Taizan Fukan ritual. That ritual ended up failing and it caused this great spirit disaster in Tokyo. Whatever, we don't know what that is yet. I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later, especially if Suzuka is staying relevant. I don't really remember what happens to her, but whatever. I'll find out eventually, probably next episode. But we hear that the Taizan Fukan ritual is meant to reincarnate somebody, and we also learn that people are under the assumption that Natsume is the reincarnation of Yako Tsuchimikado. Interesting tidbit of information there. But after this we end up switching to Natsume and Harutora eating at some restaurant place. Harutora had texted her to tell her about what had happened with Suzuka. So she was apologizing to him for everything because of her, he got targeted by Suzuka. And the way she's acting, Harutora is saying, do you dislike her or something? Like, have you met her before? And she says, oh, no, it's not that. It's just that, I've heard that she has a bad character and all this stuff, but it's pretty clear why she doesn't like Suzuka. I mean, she was focusing on Harutora's lips for like 5 seconds. The reason she doesn't like Suzuka is because she kissed Harutora instead of her. But they start talking about how Suzuka is looking for her so that she can complete the Taizan Fukan ritual, and Harutora thinks that Natsume should go back to Tokyo. Natsume says that it's her duty to stay there and protect the altar, and Harutora still doesn't buy it. So he says that she can go back to Tokyo, and he'll stay there to defend the altar. And at first, Natsume's like, "Oh, you're gonna do that? You're taking it now? Now you decide to use the Tsuchimikado name?" But he ends up saying that she's cocky, so he can take advantage of that. But she's also cute at times, so she might be willing to listen to him if they talk. And that wasn't a smart move. That was not a smart move at all. Natsume got pissed. She was pissed. Harutora started shaking. The customer behind them and the waitress, they started shaking. Their teeth were chattering. They were scared. They were scared of Natsume. And Harutora's trying to make up. And all of a sudden, he starts feeling weird. And this bee Shinigami comes out of his mouth. And it stings Natsume in the neck and sucks out all of her spiritual energy / power. And it flies away and flies over to Suzuka, wherever she was at the time. So Hard Taurus thinking, wow, this is my fault. She probably implanted that familiar in me back then when she kissed me. So that scene actually wasn't just to screw with Hokuto. It actually had another purpose. But yeah, so now that she has Natsume's spiritual energy, she doesn't need Natsume anymore. So she could just go to the altar right now and activate the Taizan Fukan ritual. But I was thirsty. But what was I? Oh yeah. Hardcore thinks it's his fault for what happened to Natsume. And she's trying to tell him, no, it's not your fault. It was one of the 12 divine generals. There's nothing either of us would have been able to do in that situation. I wouldn't be able to beat her either. So he's going to try and take her back to the main house so that they can use some of their magic items and artifacts and things like that to allow her to recover some of her magic or some of her spiritual energy. But while they're doing that, they run into Suzuka actually. She, not directly but indirectly, one of her attacks hits them. So Hardcore gets out the car, tells the driver to keep driving Natsume to the main house. He goes over to confront Suzuka and sees that she's actually at a disadvantage to the bureau guys. They have her trapped inside this barrier, and she's holding on to that bee that she got that has Natsume's spiritual energy in it. And then she ends up summoning Yako Tsuchimikado's familiar, Tsuchigumo. And Tsuchigumo are usually powerful when you see them in anime, like in Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan, aka Norio no Mago. Tsuchigumo there is incredibly powerful, and Tsuchigumo here is incredibly powerful too. Takes out all the other Shikigami that those bureau guys had, then uses this web to take them out while absorbing their spiritual energy as well. Then Suzuka starts talking about her brother. Haruto's phone goes off. That's a rookie mistake right there. That's a rookie mistake. His phone goes off, and of course it's Hokuto. She ignored his calls for who knows how long, and now she decides to call him while Suzuka is standing right there. But, rookie mistake. Should have put it on silent or something. But, his phone goes off. Suzuka walks over to him and asks if it's okay to ignore. He looks at him, sees that Hokuto. He's like, don't worry, I can ignore this. That was actually pretty funny. I laughed at that one. I don't think he meant for it to be funny, but it was. They begin talking about all this random stuff, like whether Haruto finds her cute or not. Then he starts trying to talk no jutsu her. It doesn't work. She begins talking about how the reason she became one of the 12 divine generals so young is because she was experimented on as a child and even before she was born. So that shows that her parents weren't very good parents because they allowed her to be experimented on. We learned that her legitimate goal is to use the Taizan Fukan ritual to reincarnate her brother. And she's going to use her own life force as the impetus for that ritual. So she'll give her life force to her brother. She'll literally give him her life. And Haruto tries to tell her, that's not a smart idea. Your brother wouldn't want that. And it's true, he wouldn't want that. And besides, and you can think of it this way too. This is me, not Haruto speaking. But you can think of it this way as well. She's literally taking all the problems that she has with like no family and everything and pushing them all onto her brother. She's doing this so that her brother can live again, but she's just giving him all of her problems. So it's not very smart. But she's so close-minded. She's got the blinders on. She's only looking one way. She's only got one gear, and that's go. All right. She's watched too much Charlie Sheen, but she's just so desperate that she's not really thinking about what it is she's actually doing, and she's so she's just so convinced that what she's doing is right when it's not. But one of the bureau guys, they get back up and try to beat Suzuka again. Doesn't work. She has Tsuchigumo go and attack him. Harutora runs up and saves him, but in return he's the one about to get stabbed and killed by Tsuchigumo. But who shows up to save him? Other than Hokuto. And she starts using a spell on Tsuchigumo, but she can't finish it. It turns out that Hokuto is actually a Shinigami, or a familiar, whichever you prefer. We don't know whose Shikigami she is, but she's a Shikigami. And at this point, Suzuka, she's kind of just messing with him, saying, "Oh wow, you made your familiar your girlfriend. Wow, that's pretty lame." And then he's not having any of it. He just, someone who he did care, someone who annoyed him from time to time, but even though she annoyed him from time to time, he still cared about her. Someone close to him like that just, died, I guess. I don't know if you can consider that dying. Depending on who her master was, they might be able to summon her again, so I don't know if it's considered dying or not, but Suzuka ends up leaving. Harutora has this brief flashback of when he and Hokuto first met, which it was a nice flashback, actually. Like, they actually started to make me care about Hokuto towards the end there. In the beginning of the episode, I didn't like her at all. The first episode, I didn't like her. Beginning of this episode, I didn't like her, but towards the end, they actually got me to like her a little bit, so that was good on their part. Then he ends up going to Natsume at the main house and telling her that he wants to become her familiar, her Shikigami. And she says yes, so they perform this ritual, and that was very well done, actually. I really like the way they did that. She takes the knife, cuts her lip down the middle, uses the blood to make a seal on his cheek. That also activates this magic that allows him to see spirits, because like I said in the last episode review, he can't see spirits, but now he can. And you could see all the spirits and everything. There's this nice music in the background, and the final words that they say in the episode, they belong to Harutora, and he's just saying, "Wow, this is pretty," and it was pretty. It was very well done. The visual, it was very nice to look at. So I actually really enjoyed this episode. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. I actually thought it was very, very good, very good. The beginning scene was bad, but that was a small part of the episode. Once we got to the point where Harutora coughed up that bee Shinigami, that's when things started to get good. Plus, there were a couple comedic episodes before that, as comedic moments before that. So I actually thought this episode was pretty good. Suzuka is a great character. Whenever she's involved, it's usually good. The comedy with her and Harutora, that was good. The action's usually good, so I thought it was a very good episode overall. The one bad thing was very minor and was only like a minute, maybe. Not that big of a deal. So yeah, this second episode, Tokyo Ravens, gets an 8.5 out of 10. And that's it for now. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.